The nation's longest-running traveling celebration of traditional arts, the National Folk Festival comes to downtown Jackson for the first time, November 7th through the 9th. A fun-filled weekend for the entire family, exploring roots, richness, and variety of American culture. Non-stop music and dance, folk life demonstrations, hands-on children's activities, signature Southern foods, crafts, and more showcasing the best of America, the best of Mississippi, all free. We'll see you in November. More at nationalfolkfestival.com.
Everlasting, the Legacy Podcast, is the official companion podcast to the upcoming MPB original documentary, focusing on the life of Medgar Evers. The companion podcast, hosted by me, Rita Brent, will feature in-depth conversations, extended interviews, and exclusive archive footage not shown in the documentary. Everlasting, the Legacy Podcast, video and audio episodes premiere September 18th. Find it on mpbonline.org or wherever you get your podcasts. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Good morning, Carol. That's Samore.
Good morning, Mal.
How you doing?
We're a little visit to Italy
today.
today.
We're off to Italy.
Or as they say in Mississippi, Italy.
Italy. Well, welcome to Deep South Dining. Malcolm White, Carol Palmer. We're live here on MPB Think Radio. We're also streaming ourselves away on YouTube. If for some reason you want to see what we look like this morning, Carol looks nice. Me, not so much. I would describe my look this morning as disheveled and ordinary. You look pretty festive, Carol.
Thanks, Mal.
So we got a bunch of birthdays I want to acknowledge. Today is Mary Sanders Kavicki's birthday, so happy birthday to Mary Sanders.
Gosh, she should have brought us a birthday cake for herself from Campbell's Bakery.
Well, maybe she will give herself one. Also, over the weekend, it was Mary Margaret Miller White's birthday, and so we want to wish Mary Margaret a happy birthday. And I wanted to acknowledge that about a month ago, I ran into Mary Margaret at the corner market in Fondren, and she turned me on to a Creole tomato salad dressing in a jar.
Oh, wow.
Yes. It is manufactured by Cousins out of Covington, Louisiana, and it is like a remoulade or a comeback made with Creole tomatoes, and it is super nice, and we use it a lot at our house. In fact, I've got to go get another jar today, but it's a Creole tomato dressing, great seafood dip, great salad dressing.
It's all about the tomato with you, man.
Don't you know? Hey, speaking of tomatoes, you brought me this this poster here that has a number of tomato haikus by our long lost but very important friend John Edgerton, who was quite a leader in the Southern food movement, Southern Food Alliance. But I thought I'd read a couple of these haikus. Carol, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Bacon, mayonnaise, lettuce, bread, and kosher salt. Tomato sublime.
Beautiful haiku.
Yeah,
you know, haiku is a 757. 757 syllables.
Here's another. I'd give wealth, riches, to have Tennessee homegrown tomatoes in March.
Wow. That's poetic and prophetic and profound.
It's very haiku-esque.
Yes.
And finally, were I a vegan, tomatoes would be my meat and my potatoes. Thank you, John
Beautiful.
Edgerton. Yes.
Well, you know, that hangs on the wall of my kitchen, and of course, thinking tomatoes, as I was walking around the kitchen this morning, I know your feelings and deep, abiding respect for John Edgerton and the historical work he did to elevate Southern food. And I thought, you know, I bet Mal would really love to see these this morning.
Indeed, I am happy to have them here in my temporary state at MPB Think Radio. Hey, new restaurant open, Hen and Egg, in the old Sun and Sand downtown. really a night. I went Thursday for lunch and really enjoyed it. I had breakfast, but they also serve lunch. I think their hours, I have a menu here. I'm digging through it. The hours are, oh, here they are. Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Saturday closed. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Restaurant only. I'm not sure what that means, but if you're interested, check it out. It's right across the street from the back end of the...
That's Nick Wallace?
Nick Wallace.
And
indeed.
Julian Rankin?
Well, this is just Nick, I believe.
Nick Wallace, okay.
I think Julian was involved at one point, but not so much now, I don't think. But anyway, this is what they say about their food. Crafted with Mississippi roots and a chef's touch. Our menu brings bold flavors, fresh ingredients, and a whole lot of Southern soul to every bite. So, if you're interested, the Hen and Egg in the Old Sun and Sand in downtown Jackson, across between the Woolfolk Building and the Fair Street area. Breakfast and lunch, great chicken, lots of cool vegetables, and check out this this gumbo in here. Did you happen to look at this? It is let me see if I can find it here. I was pretty excited about the style of gumbo here. Black-eyed pea and chicken gumbo. Black-eyed pea and chicken gumbo.
I'm on my way down
I
there.
like it. All right, that's the Hen and the Egg.
Did
Now
you do
open.
any cooking this week?
Not much. Kara cooked dinner on Saturday night. She made a lemon chicken with a rice pilaf, and we had a great tomato salad, of course, compliments of David Patterson and the tomatoes that we discussed last week.
It's all about the tomatoes.
It's all about the tomatoes.
At least for a few more weeks.
That's right. Oh, and I did go to Walker's. I know I'm talking a lot about Walker's these days, but it's because it's reopened, new ownership. I used to own it and all that. But I went to Walker's this week and had the fried chicken. I'm on a fried chicken binge here. And theirs is brined in sweet tea. Mm-hmm. So that was good. And I was glad to find that. Also, we talked a little bit last week about the Clarion Ledger barbecue thing.
Yeah.
It turns out that Sacred Ground won the overall contest.
Yeah.
And Pig and Pint came in second. So I wasn't quite sure of those results last week.
So there you go.
So I went to Pig and Pint this week and had a pulled pork sandwich and something called a beef brisket sloppy Joe, which was sloppy Joe made of beef brisket.
Sloppy. I thought you said floppy.
Well, it could be floppy, but this was sloppy. Really good.
Well,
really good.
I discovered that we have 5 fire alarms in my house because I set all 5 of them off this week cooking.
That's a 5-star meal.
It was a 5-star meal. This is my house in Jackson. I forgot that I did.
That you had a house in Jackson?
Well, I thought I had a grill built into my stove, but it shows how long it had been since I had cooked on this particular stove, and I did not. So I was making a ginger and balsamic glazed chicken with grilled peaches. So I grilled my peaches on top of the stove, just on a little pan with ridges, and it was insane. I mean, there were alarms going off everywhere. I mean, I had ladders fanning. I had a little church Highway 61 church fan fanning trying to get them off. But they all do work. So
well, see, that's good. It's a test.
It was good to know.
This is a test.
But the peaches turned out great.
Hey, speaking of peaches, August the 22nd is National Eat a Peach Day, and I can never say Eat a Peach Day without thinking about the Allman Brothers Band and their album.
And their album Eat a Peach.
It's also on August 24, as if Eat a Peach Day on August 22 wasn't enough. August 24, National Peach Pie Day.
Yeah, we're into that. It's just the last hurrah for peaches and tomatoes. And I just have to acknowledge on Cooking and Coping this week, there was a dish that combine both that I need to talk about.
Please talk about it.
Our good friend Bob Yarbrough from Virginia, who posts every day and has the most fabulous food, did a tomato and peach galette with Gouda and cheddar cheeses and Dijon mustard.
I saw that. Talk
it's
about sweet and
outrageous.
savory in the same.
It was so outrageous.
Same crust.
He's always so good about posting his recipes. So, went under there, looked up the recipe, and it was just for a tomato tart. And Bob added the peaches. And
did he grill them?
I don't know. I asked about, what did he say? I also added a thin layer of whole grain Dijon to the rolled out crust before scattering the layer of cheese. If you do include peaches, you don't need to peel them. The skin pretty much dissolves and leaves behind its fiber in a lovely color.
Delicious. There was also a great post by our friend Tim Pierce about the macaroni, tomato, and okra dish.
Well,
he made.
He talked about you, and you were part of his inspiration in this. He was all about the tomato and macaroni, and you suggested okra.
Right.
Asked him if he tried okra, so he added that to the mix, and it was fine.
Yeah, no doubt. Tim, of course, is from Booneville, Mississippi, up in northeast in the hills. You might be familiar with that area, Carol.
Good grief. Good grief, Malcolm.
Sheesh! Enough about Booneville. Hey, Carol, in international news, many people, including myself, were fixated over the weekend at the Putin-Trump summit. I shall not go into the political ramifications of this international intrigue, but I was interested in the fact that they met during the lunch hour, and as advertised, there would be a lunch for the two world leaders. I, of course, being interested in all things lunch, went online and did some digging to find out what they may have eaten. Well, it turns out the lunch never happened.
Correct.
It was short-circuited, and the whole summit ended rather abruptly and shortly. Nevertheless, I was able, by digging about, to find out what the intended menu was, and all of this food apparently went to waste, or the employees
had a
fine meal. So, Carol, they had a filet mignon, a salad. They had a dish called halibut Olympia, followed by creme brulee. Now, do you know about the halibut Olympia?
Well, Malcolm, of course, I also was interested in what they were having, and I must mention that it was National Public Radio that discovered what they were having because someone left the menu on a copy machine.
I also saw that story.
But I had never heard of halibut Olympia, but it's a regional dish, and they coat it in mayonnaise and cracker crumbs.
It's topped with cracker crumbs, and it's baked. So it has onions, and I have it somewhere on my phone.
We're going to be making halibut Olympia this week.
But anyway, check it out. It's a traditional dish in Alaska. Of course, they have the most. I went to Alaska once, and I will tell you that the halibut that you get in the hotel and the local restaurants is out of this world, and it doesn't even hardly resemble the halibut we get here, which I find to be delicious as well.
Yeah. Well, this is a common weeknight dish in that part of the world, and it says they compare it kind of to tuna casserole. It's something with the abundance of halibut.
The working class dish.
Yeah.
So if you didn't want the filet mignon, you could have the halibut Olympia.
I love it that we were both studying halibut this week.
And this was unrehearsed. This totally unrehearsed. I had no idea that she was even paying any attention. I thought I was coming with breaking international news, but yet Carol, of course, has already unearthed all the details. And
planning on cooking it this week.
Of course you are.
Because I have frozen halibut in my freezer right now.
And that, my friends, is how we deal with Deep South Dining. That's our world right here.
It is
live
our world.
on National Public Radio, Mississippi Public Broadcasting. And isn't it interesting that they unearthed the story that you and I are so intrigued by?
Yes, indeed, indeed.
There you have it. All right, so here's what we're going to do, Carol. We're going to take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to do something. And what is that?
We are going to have Chaz Lindsay of Pulito, one of our very favorite guests and chefs, and we're going to have my nephew, family, Andrew Puckett.
We're looking forward to this conversation and hope you are too. That's all we're going to tell you for now, so stay with us and we'll dig in to that conversation right after a very short break. More Deep South Dining on MPB Think Radio right after this break.
Together through the years, together in the future. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Every parent wants their child to grow, to explore, and to dream big. At MPB, we're proud to support families and teachers across Mississippi with trusted educational programming and resources that inspire learning and spark imagination. From PBS Kids favorites to digital tools and early learning support, MPB is here for young minds, engaged classrooms, and families who believe in the power of learning at every age. Empowering families, inspiring learners. MPB, your stories, our mission.
The nation's longest running traveling celebration of traditional arts, the National Folk Festival comes to downtown Jackson for the first time, November 7th through the 9th. A fun-filled weekend for the entire family, exploring roots, richness, and variety of American culture. Non-stop music and dance, folk life demonstrations, hands-on children's activities, signature Southern foods, crafts, and more showcasing the best of America, the best of Mississippi, all free. We'll see you in November. More at nationalfolkfestival.com.
Yeah. Welcome back to Deep South Dining. We're right here on MPB Think Radio. Malcolm White, Carol Palmer, who's having problems with her headset this morning.
I just don't know my left from my right.
You know, I have been through that. There's nothing wrong with that. This morning we are so excited because we have family. We have Andrew Puckett in the house. Andrew is a junior finance major at Mississippi State University. He is a songwriter, a guitarist, a lead singer, a cook. He's a cook, but he's also in this indie band called Pothole Paradise, which plays locally. And he just returned from Italy, where he spent the summer working on 3 organic farms, which leads us to our second guest, the one and only Chaz Lindsay, chef owner of Pulito and Rowan's in Belhaven, and is the person who introduced Andrew to the organization who helped him get to Italy and do some farming. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hello. Thank you. Glad to be on public radio this morning.
Glad there is public radio.
Yeah, we're glad there is public radio.
I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah. And I'm really happy to have my nephew, Andrew, and I'm very grateful to you, Chaz, for, helping him get where he's going. But, Andrew, my first question for you is, when did you start cooking? And gosh. I know the answer to this, so...
So don't try to lie.
Well, so I'm the youngest by far. I think the closest brother is 6 years away. And so the first thing they had me doing was making them grilled cheeses whenever they would play video games. And so we had a maid growing up, and she would teach me a lot. She taught me chicken and dumplings, scrambled eggs, and grilled cheese. And so, I don't know, ever since then I was just cooking for my brothers. And
well, Well, I love they
So it
would wake
started.
him up in the middle of the night when they came home from dates. I mean, he was just this little kid, like, 7 or 8 years old, and they would wake him up and make him come down and fix breakfast for them.
Oh.
So that's how you got to be.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a different type of bullying, you know?
One that perhaps may turn into a profession, or at
Hopefully.
least a passion.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
Andrew, what is this piece of artwork that your your Aunt Carol brought here this morning?
I barely remember it. I think I was in some summer art camp. Yeah, I think that's where it came from.
This is something I've had on the wall of my kitchen, and it's a piece of print.
What's that? Where is it from? What's the magazine? It's in there on the right corner, upper
right corner. It just says George Gunton Labor Day. It looks almost like a giant dictionary, but Andrew, this was in grade school, drew a beautiful tomato and painted it in watercolor and cut out the words tomato, and at the bottom it has the definition. But I thought it was so artistic and professional that I framed it a long time ago, and I thought you would enjoy seeing that. It came to me because you and I talked about tomato sauce this week.
Yes,
Now, I
sir.
wanted you to remember that you've been thinking about the tomato for many years now.
Wow.
It's pretty awesome. I mean, I'd hang it in Pulito right now.
There you go. Well,
Yeah.
thanks for bringing that, Carol. That's really great. So, Chaz, you brought something to us. You brought us oil. Tell us a little bit about this oil.
Yeah, so that came from the farm that I worked on in Italy when I was there. Did about a year there, an hour and a half north of Rome. And so every year at the end of October, early November, I'm like just, watching my email for that email to show up saying the oil's ready. And so this year I got 7 cases. I think we're going to have to go up to 8 cases next year. But this is, fresh harvest from that farm, 250 trees only. This is the Frantoio olive, is the type of olive. And so they harvest all the olives that day. They drive it to the mill that night. They press it and can it, and then it gets shipped to me about a week later. So I like to think it's probably some of the freshest oil you can get in the U.S., or at least in Mississippi.
Indeed. So when you were on the farm, did you help pick the olives or have anything to do with production?
In 2011, I went there for 6 weeks specifically just to harvest olives, and that's how I got introduced to that farm and that family, and we remained friends, and that's when I ended up moving back in 2016. And I mean, it's no joke. That is hard work, sun up to sundown. You're in a tree, you got to...
They handpick?
No, well, so yes, but they also have these 10-meter long rakes. They're like oscillating rakes, and you have like a 20-pound battery pack on your back, and I mean, you're just sitting there getting shook all day. I mean, it's the hardest work I've ever done in my life. Physical labor, it's intense.
Wow.
So,
And when you were on the farm, you actually became the chef of the restaurant on the farm.
right.
Tell us about that.
Well, so in 2011, I was the longest standing person who had been working there for the harvest. So they were like, we need to give this guy a break, And so I started cooking lunch for all the other woofers who were traveling through, because we'd have people that would come in for 2-3 days or maybe a week. And they happened to like how I cooked. So that's how I got invited back in 2016. Was they had opened a bed and breakfast on the farm that had a small restaurant that was open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and they needed a chef. And I said yes.
Well, Carol, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, so you mentioned WWOOF, and that's what we're going to talk about today. WWOOF is WWOOF, and it is...
Worldwide Opportunities on Organic Farms.
And Andrew, that's what you spent your summer doing.
Yes, ma'am.
And so tell us about how you got to WWOOF.
Well, Mr. Lindsay told me everything about it. We were probably 2 weeks away from our flight to Italy, and we were going to be there for 2 months. So we couldn't just be tourists the whole time, so we needed a plan. And working there really saved us a lot, and it was really the best experiences that we had on the entire trip were on the farms.
Well, and Chaz, I was so impressed that you actually, he had been asking different people what to do, like how to get in the kitchen in Italy. And you really gave him the way to do it.
Yeah, well, Will, his older brother, we've become pretty good friends. He's got Tuk Tuk Boom, which is a great restaurant, just opened a new location, and he was like, "Hey man, can you have lunch with my brother? He's going to Italy. He has no plan. Like, what's he gonna do?" And I'm like, "All right, we'll just go feel it out." So the three of us got together, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I don't know. I've got a ticket." And I was like, "All right, man, this is what you need to do. It's a great way, because the way that woofing works is, it's this online international database of all these farms. And I've had one friend who's done it on 3 different continents. But you show up and basically you exchange, free labor for room and board. And they put you up, they feed you, and then you're expected to contribute in some way to that farm. Like, in Italy, it's like very agriculturally based. Like, I was with olives. Andrew, you did a vineyard, one of them, right? But then, like, my buddy who's done it all over the place, he went to one in Belgium that you just had to contribute something, and it was like pretty much like a commune. And like there was one person there, their contribution for the day was a poem. Like,
wow.
Yeah, so it can get a little interesting.
But it's mostly about organic farming.
That's generally what it is. Yes. Yeah.
Andrew, what are the accommodations like on the farm?
So it's really just dependent on the person. The first place we stayed at, we had our own room and we had separate beds, and he had a pool, and it was basically we could use his whole house. Like, we could cook if we ever wanted to cook lunch. It's good living. He said that a lot of people, though, are like uncomfortable that go there. Like, they're always asking if they have air conditioning and Wi-Fi and all that type of stuff. But we weren't that high maintenance, so I just sat in my hammock and read a book all day, usually when we weren't working.
And so, what was work like?
So the first
on
place,
this farm?
Yeah. So we would wake up at 6:15, and we would have coffee for about 5 minutes, and then we would go straight to the vineyard. And so the first day was the worst because we had to help him water his he had truffle saplings growing, and so we would have to carry around these big jugs of water and water like 100 different trees in this future orchard that he was making. And that was the worst day. But after that, it was just tucking vines on in the vineyards and just helping him. He called it canopy management, which was really just like clearing a path for the tractor to go in between the vines so he could spray it with copper and sulfur were the only 2 chemicals that he could use to clarify him as organic. And so that was the first farm. It was very fun.
And he was a professor, right?
Yes, so he did some teaching in University of Florence, and I think his wife was also an English teacher around Europe. She was in Belgium at the time, but so that's how he got the truffle saplings, was through.
He's a food historian.
Yes, he's professional. He knows everything about it. And so the University of Florence sent him these saplings with this like truffle mycelium connected to the roots. So hopefully in like 10 years, if he grows the trees, then there will be truffles growing on the roots, and he'll be able to profit from it. And he'll have to get a dog to sniff out all the truffles. But he said it was like a 10-year program that he might be able to make a lot of money from.
Wow.
You want to give us a little info on truffles?
They're delicious, but they're very expensive. So growing them has become more and more common. It used to be like only a foraged good, right? And so like the first people who really were able to take truffles from Italy and transplant them, they took like 50 trees, dug up like all the way around them, a good amount, 10, 15 feet, wrapped them up, put them on a ship, and sent them down to Australia. So now, and that took like 50 years for them to start producing, for them to be able to like ship them worldwide. And so right now we have like Australian winter truffles because, the seasons are switched between here and there. So starting in probably September, we'll start seeing Italian truffles, And like French Perigords are kind of the first ones that come out. But then like November around the holidays is when you start to see the white albas from northern Italy. And I think last year those opened at $3,100 a pound. And so, yeah, it's a mushroom that grows underground, and you have to have a dog or sometimes a pig. And they have the nose for them, and, you go and let the dog run and find the truffle, and you dig it up, and hopefully it's in good shape, and you make a lot of money off of it or enjoy a really good meal.
So, Andrew, on your second farm, you actually worked with the truffle dog, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So he was a goofy dog, I think.
Do you know what kind it was?
Well, it looked like a golden doodle, but then he told us it was like specifically bred for truffle hunting.
A legato, I think is what they call it.
Yeah,
I think that's the breed.
Yeah, and I think they have to like.
Is that him there?
Yeah, that's Leo. Yeah.
Nice hat.
Yeah, that was the hat I would wear. So I think they have to, like, breeding it, I think they might just like inbreed some of the dogs sometimes because it's hard to get the like two of the same like pure breed legato dogs. Mm-hmm. And so he would have like his hips were kind of wonky, so whenever he would lay down, he would look like a carpet. He would be like spread out. So he was a funny dog. And he would always be running in my room and taking my socks, and I would have to chase him for like 30 minutes. But he was it was really fun because some of the work, like most of the work we did there was in the truffle orchard. And so we would be hauling wood, and it was like very hard work and just very labor intensive work. And so it would be nice to, take a break and then go out with the dog and tell him to go hunt for truffles, and we'll just walk with him through the orchard, and he'll sniff out all the roots, and sometimes he'll find a truffle and it could be rotten. It could be like the biggest truffle you've ever seen. And so you got to run up there and get it before he eats it, because sometimes he would eat a couple. But we worked with, so the farmhand there, he was an Albanian man, and he didn't really like the owner of the farm. So whenever we would go out with him, he would take the dog, and if he would find a truffle, he would tell us, like, he didn't speak any English, so he would just put his finger over his lips and tell us to be quiet, and he would sneak the truffle in his pocket and take it home for dinner.
Oh, ripping off the man.
Yeah, and so what was the dog's name?
Leo.
Leo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And what, like a bird dog points, a squirrel dog barks. What does the truffle dog do to let you know yonder is your truffle?
He digs.
He just starts digging.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He doesn't wait for any sort of command.
Well, you would say like Leo, vai, which just means go, and you'd say like dove, which is like where, and those were his commands, and that's all he knew, and he would just go out and find him.
And what did you do to care for the dog?
A lot. So so the owner of that farm, he loved that dog, and so he wasn't there much because he lived in Florence. So whenever it was just us there, he would make us like wash the dog sometimes, and if he ever had like a spot on his paw, he would give us like salt water and make us like warm it up and soak his paws in the salt water, and then feed him if we ever cooked dinner, and then put him up in the cage at night. It was a lot. He was a high maintenance dog, but he was.
Well, this dog earned his money.
Yeah, absolutely.
This dog finds a couple of truffles and everybody's
everybody's happy.
Well,
but Chaz, it's really just been a couple of decades that they started using dogs instead of pigs.
Right, and right now we're seeing those Italian summer truffles, which are the most mild in flavor throughout the year. But I mean, those things are still at $190 a pound right now.
How much truffle do you use?
I'm not using any right now, just because we've got such beautiful vegetables coming from Flora. I don't need them, but I probably go through. I'm probably doing 50 pounds a year at least.
Okay.
Wow.
But different varieties. So, and then we just do it on cacio e pepe. That's
That's the one dish.
That's the one dish. Sometimes if we have a lot, we'll shave them on scallops or something, and it's really nice. But
tell our listeners what cacio e pepe is.
It literally just means cheese and pepper, and so we always do it with a linguine noodle, which is a longer, thin noodle. we cheat a little bit and we add butter sauce to it. And so we butter sauce and then a blend of pecorino and Parmesan. And then we toast black pepper and grind it in the food mill so it's a little more coarse and it also warms up the flavor. And we add that in. And so it's just like this beautiful,
and where
rich.
does the truffle go?
It goes right on top. We shave it on top with it. They have little truffle mandolins, and like I've actually got a couple made from olive wood from Italy, from the farm that I worked on, that are really nice.
You know, when I owned the Everyday Gourmet, I carried truffle shavers. Not that I would ever hope to sell one, but it just seemed
you just
like
wanted one.
I wanted, you know, to always have, when somebody said, do you have a larding needle or a truffle shaver?
You've got it.
I would have those. But
Right here.
Malcolm, I was reminded of our good mutual friend Molly O'Neill, who was food editor for the New York Times, and she was a great friend of both of ours.
Love
and she
me
was,
some Molly O'Neill.
No longer with us, but one day I got a phone call from Molly O'Neill, and she said, I've scored 2 pounds of truffles.
Wow.
And so I got on an airplane and flew to Albany, New York, and she picked me up, and we had a weekend with her friends of all kind of truffle dinners.
Truffle
everything
orgy.
from scrambled eggs with truffle to, you know, turkey with truffle. But it was...
You were a little truffled out after that.
Yeah, a little truffled out. A little truffled out.
Tucked your tail and came back to Mississippi.
Yeah, that's funny because we were talking about like getting ready for truffle season, because I mean it is an investment, like you know, especially like white truffles. That's when I make gnocchi, is when white truffles show up. But I was like, Daniel Boulud, you know, New York, famous French chef. He's got this famous dish where they do scrambled eggs in a double boiler, and you have to whisk them constantly. So it's a super soft scramble, and then they just shave white truffles over it, and it's like one of the most decadent things you've ever had.
Yeah, Andrew, did you see this is the end of the food chain of what you were working on? Did you have any idea they were so expensive?
Yes, ma'am. They would tell us that that was like the most profitable like food product that they would have, and I don't know, there was just a really high demand for it. Like everywhere, even just walking through the cities, there would always be like the smell of truffle in the air, and you would look to your left, and there would be like truffle tasting vendors, and I don't know, we would stop by there and try them all.
Wow.
So where did you learn to make lasagna?
Oh, they made lasagna everywhere. So the first farm we worked at, Guido, the guy, he gave us his mother's recipe, and so he said that they would usually make it on Sunday because they had the most time to, you know, prep all the food and make the ragu and all that stuff. But it's very simple. Like Italian food, it's really just like the ingredients that bring everything together.
Did you use meat in your lasagna?
Yes. So he would use... There was a lot of like wild deer there, and so he would go with his friends, and they would hunt deer, and so we used deer meat and also just ground beef and some prosciutto or pancetta to use for like the vegetables. But it's a big thing there. Like they have a debate if you should use tomatoes in your ragu, and he was just telling us that that's like something that they've been debating about for the past like decades and centuries, about putting tomatoes in the bolognese, but he ended up putting tomatoes. And
okay. So they use a white sauce?
It's not necessarily.
Well, if they don't use tomatoes, what did they make the sauce of?
So it would just be like chicken broth or beef broth and maybe some red wine. Some people use milk. I don't know. I'm not the chef.
So all right. So bolognese was like a sauce for the royalty. Okay, and like because you know most of the dairy got preserved in Italy, and in the north they were closer to France, so they had butter. The south is mostly olive oil, and like fresh milk was like a commodity. You know, most of it got turned into cheese. So if you make like the bolognese sauce, traditionally it's just carrots and onions, and then you know pancetta. Maybe some other type of ground pork, and then milk. It's always milk and red wine.
Okay.
And so if you made that sauce, like obviously you got a little extra cash to spend, you know, and that's where that came from.
Malcolm, who knew?
Who knew? People who listen to this show now know.
Now they know. And so, Andrew, you've made this since you've been home?
Yes, ma'am. I made it one time so far, but yeah, it was just for my parents' anniversary.
We put tomato in it at Pulito.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and get
Yeah, I
out
put
there.
tomato in mine.
Yeah.
All right, we've got a couple of callers and an email, a text, and so I'm going to go ahead and deal with that info right now. Maybe not take a break if Marissa can live with it. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, we can keep it rolling.
So our great friend and listener, Ellen Bordeaux, asked this question: how deep does the dog have to dig to find the truffles?
Oh, so it's not that far. It's only like a couple of inches in the ground, but you just got to keep a steady eye over him because, he's fast.
He's gonna grab it.
Yeah, he'll grab it, and if it's a good one, he'll eat it.
So they're not deep. They're sort of up close to the.
Yeah, I would say like the
To the
deepest
ground.
would probably be like maybe a foot.
Are
if
they
that much, but-
attached to the root of the tree?
Yeah, so that's the thing. So I guess it's not a vegetable or a plant. It's a
Fungus.
fungi. Yeah, it's fungus.
Fungi.
So it doesn't need any sunlight. It just needs water and moisture to grow. But it's a very long process. So when they start, they take these saplings and they take the spores, or I guess they colonize the spores for the truffles first, and then they place them on the roots of the sapling. And so nothing's guaranteed when you start growing it. And it's going to take like 6 to 10 years before you start seeing truffles. So it's kind of a gamble, but it will pay off.
Obviously
if it
pays
works,
off if you. All right, we got a caller from Starkville. Graham is on the phone. Has a story to tell us about truffles. Hey, Graham, what's up?
I just wanted to take advantage of the first opportunity after 50 years to tell you that I discovered one of the very first truffles in North America.
Wow.
I live in 3/4 of a mile, at most half a mile or 3/4 of a mile from the center of the MSU Mississippi State campus up here.
Uh-huh.
And while you mentioned that everybody knows that dogs and hogs dig for trouble, I'm sure I had the first episode where a cat. Yeah.
Wow.
I was on my way to school. I was on my way to run to class. I was a little late, and the cat was out digging ferociously under a pecan tree that was almost dead. And I went to see what she was looking at, and it looked like a small new potato, really round, and I forgot. I think there was 2 bulbs kind of adjacent to one another. And I remembered that I didn't have time to check. I did pick up a crumb, and I was astounded at the toasty scent of this piece of nutty. That was another way I described it. So anyway, I ran to school, finished my lecture, and as soon as I could, came back, and I dug this thing up. She didn't dig it all up. She just exposed and tore up part of it. And I took it to the distinguished botanist on the campus to ask him, and he said, well, for sure it's a fungus, but he said, I don't know. And he sent it to, I can't remember the name of the university, and I think it's in Oregon, but he sent it to the West Coast and came back a reply 2 weeks later that it was only the second incident of finding one of these truffles, and I don't know whether it was this type or whether it was the first truffle. But the only other one had been found in California, and we were the first ones in the rest of the continent.
All right.
And I did everything I could. I went to horticulture, and they said, if the truffles are growing here, why is there some way to cultivate them or make a new market? And but nobody was interested at the time, and I was teaching engineering, so I was a mile out of the out of the people who might be interested. But I understand now that they are cultivated. I think the University of Georgia did a lot of work. I found out 10 years later that they had successfully, if I'm correct, that it was Georgia. And someplace in Arkansas, I think also.
Okay.
I only mention that you people probably know better than I do.
Well, Graham, we thank you for that. Your connection is not great, so we're going to. The audio is not perfect. But to understand what I heard in 1985, Graham, a professor at Mississippi State, his cat was digging under a dead pecan tree, and there was some sort of potato or something under there. And he went to class, came back, dug it up, had the researchers at Mississippi State look at it. Turns out it's a truffle, probably the first truffle known to be discovered in the United States.
Oregon would make sense as to where they would send it, because Oregon has had a lot of success with, truffles. You can get some American truffles there. North Carolina has also had a little success as well, but not nearly what they do in Europe.
So, Andrew, when you get back to state, you can go look
look
under
for
those
it.
pecan trees.
Yeah.
I need to train my cats to go search.
No doubt. Well, anyway, we had another caller. I think we lost him.
We do have a question
Okay.
on the chat. Shout out to everybody who is watching the live stream right now and chatting with us. We have a question from Chris Puckett that says, has Andrew's famous grilled cheese changed at all post-Italy?
Very good question.
It's good.
This is Chris Puckett from Houston?
Yeah, from Houston, all the way from Houston. That's crazy. No, Chris, it has not changed. It is still the same way it's been for the past 15 years, and it is still the best grilled cheese in your life.
What cheese do you use, Andrew? Just
mean,
American sliced cheese?
No, I'm a little fancier than that.
Cheddar?
Cheddar, yeah.
Okay.
Using cheddar. But the best is the Mississippi State Edam cheese.
That stuff's
it's
great.
always it has the best melt on it.
So, Andrew, what is your favorite meal you ate over the summer in Italy? One thing that just blew you away.
That's a hard one. Wow. I'd probably just have to say all the pizza that we ate when we went to Naples. It was like just the best. It was the cheapest stuff. It was like $5 for a pizza, and it was better than any pizza I've had here. Better than Domino's and Papa John's.
So, Chaz, what makes these pizzas so great? I know this is sort of where pizza came from Napoli, as they say. I mean, and they're just renowned worldwide. Is it because they were first?
I think so. Oh, y'all just had Mary Soul on from Lenya up in Cleveland, and she went to school like outside or in Naples. But I think it was first. And I think also Andrew and I were talking about like the DOC, DOCG designations that they have in Italy, and there's all these rules that are very specific to Neapolitan pizza, what you can put on it, how big it has to be, and the tomato, the San Marzano, you have to have on there. That's what makes it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. What did you cook? At the last farm you were on?
Yes, ma'am. So the last farm, it was more of a commune. They weren't really growing. They had a vegetable garden, but they weren't like making money off of any of their crops. And so, they had his mom that she would cook like the first couple of days, and her food, she was vegetarian, and it was just very simple, like just tomatoes and cheese, like on some bread, maybe with some olive oil. And so we kind of got tired of that after the first couple of days. And so whenever she left, then I asked him if I could cook. And I think the first night he had like some rice noodles, and we made some Asian stir-fry dish, and it was just a lot different from what we've been having. And so from then on, he was like, all right, you'll cook the meals from now, and then we'll work during the day, and you just have to cook lunch and dinner. And
You want that cook job on a farm. That's that's a cushy position,
It's nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's great that you evolved to that position. Are you interested in the food restaurant business?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's just,
I know you're studying finance, so Chaz and I
That
can tell
probably
you.
has something to do with his parents.
Chaz and I can tell you that there's not a lot of real high finance in restaurant business.
Yeah, you might want to go with the financial route so you can afford to eat at the restaurants that you want to,
Chaz, we failed to mention that Andrew cooked last summer. Is it Cherry Hills or Cherry Creek?
Oh, Cherry Hills.
Cherry Hills Country Club. It's like the John Elway, Peyton Manning Country Club outside of Denver, and he went because his brothers had worked there.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they gave him a tryout in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. What did you have to cook?
Oh, there was just like a burger
for the chefs.
And,
I thought you would appreciate that.
Yeah. At Danielle, they made me do an omelet. You know,
yeah.
And you have to choose between a non-stick, a stainless steel, or a cast iron, and they want you to choose the cast iron.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yeah.
So, did you know that trick? That was
I knew
part
that
of the
going
trick?
in. Yeah, I knew that.
You went with the non-stick.
I did. I was scared. I was terrified. It was 19-year-old me being,
So you can
terrified.
appreciate 19-year-old Andrew.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, it's funny because Will has, sent me a picture. He's like, dude gets back from Italy, and this is what happens, and it sends me a picture of him rolling out pasta in the kitchen. I'm like, that's awesome, man. I love it.
Well, Chaz, how does it feel that somebody actually took your advice?
It's crazy. I can't believe it actually happened. It doesn't happen that often. So, but no, it sounds like, it sounded out like it really worked in his favor. And so, I think anybody who has the opportunity and they want to travel and see the world for cheap, this is the best way you can do it.
Now, we talked about the WWOOF, the concept. What about this concept of the agriturismo? What is that a different type of?
Yeah, so that's basically just agricultural tourism in Italy. And so farms that are agriturismos, they'll do like the farm I worked on, we had a bed and breakfast. So you could come and stay. It's a working farm. You could see how we do things. Some places do just daily tours, vineyards, olive groves, or, some cheese making. You can go and see them milk sheep in the morning, and then you go watch how they make pecorino.
And it started as a way for farmers to have additional income.
Correct.
You have an extra room at your farm. It's not 5-star living, but that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So you did both?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
I want to, as a
go
closing
right ahead.
shot, I want to present my nephew, Andrew, with a copy of
wow.
Giuliano Bugiali's Classic Techniques of Italian Cooking. This is a family heirloom.
Oh, wow.
That's
Now,
awesome.
Yeah, Giuliano came to and cooked at the Everyday Gourmet several times, and I can think of
What a pride.
no
Hey,
better.
Hey, man.
Wow.
Cherish
Yeah.
that.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to
This is great.
adulthood. All right, Deep South Dining is a production of Mississippi Public Broadcasting's Think Radio. We are made possible by the generous contributions from folks like yourself, and we thank you. If you enjoy the stories in the community and the carrying on here each week, please make a contribution to help keep shows like this on the air. You can visit mpbonline.org or show your support by using the MPB app. Our show was produced by Marissa Vaughn, and for our guest, Andrew Puckett, Chaz Lindsay, and my co-host, Carol Palmer, I am Malcolm White. We ask that you now stay tuned for Everyday Tech at 10, Southern Remedy at 11, and join us each and every Monday and Sunday at 9 a.m. for more Deep South Dining right here on MPB Think Radio.